Wrigley Spearmint Chewing Gum, the refreshing, delicious treat that gives you chewing enjoyment, presents for your listening enjoyment Edmond O'Brien as...
Johnny Dollar.
Johnny, this is Louise Costa.
Oh, Louise. Say, that's funny. I was thinking of you and Lucky just this morning.
Were you?
Yeah, how are you?
I don't know, Johnny. That's why I called you.
What's the matter, Louise? Something about Lucky?
I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm getting tired of being a detective's wife.
Hey, wait a minute. That doesn't sound like you.
I know, but something's wrong. He's been on a case and he had to go to San Francisco, or at least that's what he told me. I haven't had one word, not even a postcard in a week.
That doesn't sound like Lucky. Maybe he's in trouble.
It's a divorce case, Johnny. Could I talk to you about it? Maybe I'm all wrong, but I'd like to know.
Yeah, sure, Louise. I'll be over in about an hour, if that's all right.
The makers of Wrigley Spearmint Chewing Gum bring you Edmond O'Brien in another adventure of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
For refreshment while you work, for enjoyment anytime, chew a stick of Wrigley Spearmint Gum. The delicious, long-lasting, real mint flavor of Wrigley Spearmint cools your mouth and freshens your taste. The good, smooth chewing helps keep you feeling fresh and alert, adds enjoyment to whatever you're doing. So indoors, outdoors, at work or play, enjoy chewing Wrigley Spearmint Gum. Wrigley Spearmint. Refreshing, delicious.
Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to New York Police Department, Attention Homicide Bureau. I in no way expect you to honor this statement, but for the sake of convenience, I'll use my regular report form. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Lucky Costa matter. His real name was Frank Costa. I don't know where he'd picked up the Lucky tag, but he'd had it 5 years ago when both of us were on the payroll of one of the big detective agencies. He opened his own office at about the same time I went into insurance. I got to know him and his wife well, but not intimately, and I liked them both. So when she phoned with worry in her voice, I went over to see her. In a way, I wish I hadn't.
Now that you're here, I feel kind of silly and embarrassed.
Well, you don't have to talk about anything you don't want to, Louise. Why don't we go to dinner and a movie and forget the detective racket for a while?
That doesn't work. I've tried it. Johnny, it's not only this week that I haven't heard from him. Lucky's changed.
How?
Well, it's nothing I can explain to you. If you'd seen him every day, you probably wouldn't have noticed anything, but it's something that a wife could see. Thing with his eyes when he didn't know I was looking at him. Sort of a far away, as if he was thinking of something that I didn't have any business knowing about. And you know Lucky's never been like that.
Well, I guess any man keeps secrets when it's his job to.
Well, Lucky never has with me. He didn't need to. As far as his job went, he's always told me that it did him good to come home and talk things over with me. Even things he really wasn't supposed to talk about. It hasn't been that.
You think he's mixed up with another woman, don't you?
It started over a month ago, Johnny. I've been used to Lucky being away. You know that.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to be.
But like I said, I knew when things got different, when it was more than just being away from me.
You sure you aren't imagining things?
I'm not imagining, but I haven't heard from him in all this time. That never happened before.
How long has this been going on, this change you speak of?
Well, I tried to remember exactly when I first noticed it. And I think it was one night about a month ago. I asked him what he was thinking about, and he sort of came to and said something that I don't remember now.
Did you press it any further?
A couple of times, and then I didn't anymore. Because it made me think he was hiding something from me. I didn't want to think that. I kept telling myself that everything was all right. But now I know it wasn't.
Was he on a case a month ago?
Well, he was tracing some phonies. It doesn't have anything to do with work, Johnny. I know that. He'd traced phonies before. He'd done everything before. It wasn't work.
Well, I don't have a wife's viewpoint, but I know Lucky pretty well. Some things about him I know better than you do. It seems to me that if he was going to go wrong with a woman, he'd have done it a long time ago. We met some, you know.
Yeah, I've heard.
Does his brother still live here in town?
Yes, but I haven't phoned him.
Same address on Broad, wasn't it?
Yeah. Are you going to see him?
Yeah, I thought I might. You want me to check on Lucky, don't you?
I don't know what I want. Yes, I want to find out.
All right. I think his brother is the best place to start. The last time I'd been at the Broad Street address had been for the funeral of the Costa's mother. The house was a few years more beat up than it had been. Some old chicken coop stood empty in the backyard, and Joe, the brother, pulled up in an old car after I'd thumbed the doorbell 3 or 4 times and had started to leave.
I took the wife and kids over to the park so I could have some peace for an hour or so.
Yeah, I almost missed you.
I'm glad you didn't, Johnny. It's been a long time. How've things been going with you?
Fair, Joe. You?
A guy can make a living. But making it go far enough is another story. Hey, come in the house.
Sure, thanks.
I'm working over at Bricker's now. It's a better spot than the old job. Had one raise already and got another one coming up.
Yeah, that sounds good, Joe.
You still doing the same thing?
Yeah, still following people.
You, see much of Lucky anymore?
No, not for 6 months anyway. As a matter of fact, I came here to talk to you about him.
Yeah? What about him?
Well, I wondered if you'd spoken to him before he left for San Francisco last week.
No. I talked to Lucky for the last time, as far as I'm concerned. That was about a month ago.
What's the matter? Thought you two were okay, that you got along all right.
You're a pretty good friend of his, aren't you, Johnny?
Well, you know how it was. He and I just fell together when we were with the agency. Yeah, we're good friends. Maybe I see him only twice a year, but he's almost the only guy I've held on to.
Did he ever tell you about his first wife?
He was married before?
Yeah. Did he ever tell you about the year and 6 he spent in prison?
Joe, are you serious?
Yeah. That's the way Lucky is. He don't let his friends know anything about him that he don't want them to know. He's always been like that. There's always been 2 sides to Joe. One that you know about and one that you don't.
What about this prison term?
It was grand theft. It was over this girl that he married, his first wife. He stole some furs for her.
How long ago?
12, 15 years, I guess. Well, we're still living in Brooklyn. Lucky was a wild kid when he was 18 or so, and he still got some of it in him.
Who's this woman he married?
Her name was Hazel Mackey, and she called me about getting in touch with Lucky.
Oh? When?
That was about a month ago. That's when him and me had our showdown. I told him he was a dumb cluck if he saw Hazel again. I said, you got a new life now. You're amounting to something. You're married to a nice kid. But I could tell I wasn't getting to him. He was going to see her. I knew that. So I told him if he did, it was the end of him and me, brother or no brother.
You're sure he saw her?
Well, before he left that he would. She had some kind of hold on him back when they were married. And she still got it. What do you want with Lucky, Johnny?
Louise called me. She hasn't heard from him in a week, and she wants to know what goes. He's dropped out of sight.
Sure he has. I knew he would.
Where can I find this Hazel?
New York. She's got an apartment on 82nd.
You got the number?
Yeah. Come on in the other room. I'll get it for you.
Miss Hazel Mackey?
Yeah. Who are you?
My name is Dollar. I'm a friend of Lucky Costa's.
Oh, come on in.
Thanks. You know where Lucky is?
Not at the moment, no. Who are you?
I told you, he's been missing for a week. His family is worried. I'm looking for him.
He's on a case.
Is he working for you?
Yes.
What kind of a case?
I don't know that it's any of your business. I need a detective, so I hired him. Is that all right?
It would be if he were on the up and up about it, but he isn't. As far as his wife knows, he's in San Francisco on a divorce case.
I can't help what he tells his wife. How did you get here?
His brother told me about you.
I guess his wife doesn't know. I guess that's why he told her he was going to San Francisco.
You know where I can reach him?
No, not for a while.
Do you think I ought to send his wife to the police?
I don't see why you should.
I will if I don't find out about the case he's in.
Hey, what's with this pressure stuff?
What's the case?
I needed a bodyguard.
What for?
I was engaged to a guy who was sent to prison. He was there 2 years, and I changed my mind about him. He's out now, and I'm afraid of him.
Who is he?
You know I don't like you. You got a lot of nerve. None of this is any of your business.
I wish you were right, but I've already stuck my neck out and made it my business. So if I don't find out these things from you, I'll find them out from someone else.
Yeah, guess you would. His name is George Myers.
What makes you think he's going to cause you any trouble?
Some of the things he told me when I went to visit him. It's hard to talk sense to a man who's been in prison that long. I tried to tell him how I felt, but he'd blow his top and make a lot of threats.
Where is he now?
I don't know. Been out a week. And Lucky's trying to get a line on him.
He hasn't contacted you yet?
No, but he will. When it's over with and we get things straightened out, why, then Lucky can go back to his wife. Now, if you approve, I'd just as soon you'd get out of here.
No, a few things don't figure. You answered the door buzzer not like a dame that's afraid of someone coming, but I suppose you're right. It's Lucky's business how he earns his money.
I'll tell him you dropped in.
It's up to you. Good night.
So long.
I put off telling his wife for 2 days because I didn't know how and because I didn't think it was up to me to tell her things she never knew about her husband. But on the third morning, it broke. The story made page 1, part 2 of all the New York dailies. The body of ex-convict George Myers had been found the night before. He'd been shot to death by what they called an unknown assailant. I phoned the brother, Joe Costa, and met him outside Bricker's during his lunch hour.
Hi, Johnny. What's up?
Well, maybe the local papers didn't carry it here. This one.
What about it? Who's this Myers?
Friend of Hazel Mackey's. She told me she hired Lucky to bodyguard her against this Myers.
Holy. You mean Lucky killed him?
I don't know, Joe. But it looks bad. Here, read this last paragraph. Myers went to prison on a robbery rap, but the money was never recovered. There's $200,000 floating around, Joe. I can't help wondering if this Mackey woman hadn't her finger on it.
Why do you have to tell me this, Johnny?
Because I couldn't carry it myself. I talked to Hazel. What she tells me puts the finger on Lucky. I wanted you to know because I'm going to have to go to the police with it.
This is going to kill Louise. You know that.
What can I do, Joe?
Well, it seems to me you could stop playing hero.
Now, wait, Joe.
You don't have to run to the police. If Lucky did it, let them find out. You don't have to tell
Joe.
them. Not for that no-good Lucky, but
Joe,
for Louise.
Joe, listen to me. If they get to Hazel Mackey and she tells them about talking to me, then what happens? Then I'm in trouble. I can't afford that, Joe. I've got to stay clean with the police.
Sure, stay clean, no matter what it does to Louise. That's the way it is, then, huh?
I didn't ask to get mixed up in it. I didn't tell Louise what I found out about him, but it's out of hand now, Joe, and there's nothing I can do.
Go ahead, then. Go ahead. Maybe some nice fat cop will pat you on the back.
Joe! Joe! That's our racket.
For refreshment while you work, for enjoyment any time, chew a stick of Wrigley's Spearmint Gum. When your mouth feels dry, when you're warm or tired, Wrigley's Spearmint is really refreshing. The lively, full-bodied, real mint flavor cools your mouth, moistens your throat, freshens your taste. And the chewing itself gives you a little lift, helps you feel your best and do your best. So for chewing enjoyment plus pleasant refreshment, chew delicious Wrigley's Spearmint Gum. And now with our star, Edmond O'Brien, we bring you the second act of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
I left Hartford for New York on the 110 that afternoon. When I got there, the later editions reported the usual rounding up of known criminals who were being grilled about the Myers shooting. And the closer I got to the apartment on 82nd Street, the rottener the whole thing looked to me.
Who is... Oh,
Come on, open up.
all right. What do you want?
Where is he now?
Lucky? I don't know. I told him to give himself up, but he wouldn't.
Did he kill George Myers?
Yes, the stupid idiot.
How did it happen?
Lucky had a room over at the Montclair, and George must have followed me over there.
You went across town so you could be with your bodyguard.
Yes,
And the man you were afraid of followed you.
yes.
You were either not very bright or not very scared. Go ahead.
Well, about 2 o'clock we came out, and George was waiting in the lobby. He followed us out on the street and started swearing at us. He took a swing at me, and then Lucky tried to stop him. He pulled a gun out of his pocket, and that's when Lucky shot him.
It all sounds very neat.
What do you mean?
Sit down. I've got a theory that I'll try out on you. When I get close, tell me. The $200,000 that never showed up after George Myers' arrest. For a split of that, Lucky agreed to kill him.
You're crazy.
You hire a detective as a bodyguard. Theoretically, he could kill this man you were afraid of and ride out of it on his license and a self-defense plea.
It was self-defense. George pulled a gun.
The police didn't find it. If it was self-defense, why didn't Lucky report it like he should have?
I wanted him to. We came back here, and I begged him to phone the police.
What about the $200,000?
I don't know anything about it.
You mean it'll be hard to prove that you do?
I said I don't know.
I take it you haven't phoned the police.
No. I know I should, but I just can't do it to Lucky.
You know I'm going to call them, don't you?
I thought you said you were his friend.
Not that good a friend.
Oh, what can they do to me?
Hold you as a material witness while I try to get some proof together that you dragged Lucky into this.
Dragged him into it. I hired him. I told you that. I was afraid of George, and I hired him.
And he killed Myers in line of duty, ended in self-defense. Why didn't he turn himself in?
I don't know. I wanted him to.
You must have given him some reason for not doing it. What did he say?
Well, he said that everything was all ruined now and that he'd rather take a chance on getting away.
Why was it ruined if he killed in self-defense? I've had to do it.
I don't know.
Were you going to help him get away?
We didn't talk about that. He was like a crazy man, pacing the floor. And then he left about 3:30.
Where was he going?
He didn't say.
Was he going to get in touch with you?
Yes. He said he'd try to call.
Well, you won't be here to take the call. I want the police to hear your story. The officer who answered my call was Lieutenant Carl Belder. 2 uniformed men who were with him took Hazel Mackey back to headquarters, and he listened to my theory. We searched the apartment without finding proof of her holding any amount like $200,000. She had a small savings account, a small checking account, and a stub showed that she had paid Lucky Costa a week in advance. We waited the rest of the afternoon for Lucky to call, and he finally did an hour or so after dark.
Go ahead, Dollar. That might be him.
Johnny Dollar.
Who?
This Lucky? This is Johnny Dollar. Don't hang up, Lucky.
Why should I hang up? Hiya, Johnny.
I'm all right, Lucky. How are you?
Fine.
Yeah, I can imagine. What was the matter with you?
I don't have the slightest idea what you're talking about. How about you explaining yourself? What are you doing in my girl's apartment?
She's not lonesome. She's down visiting New York's finest. Why don't you use your head and come on in, Lucky?
You kidding? I like it where I am.
You still figuring on trying to run out?
Sure, it's worth a chance, don't you think, Johnny?
If you killed Myers in self-defense, why don't you play it that way?
Having us called Trace, Johnny?
I hoped we wouldn't have to play games like that. I thought if I could talk to you, you'd come to your senses. Can I meet you someplace where we can talk it over?
No, thanks. You're a good guy, Johnny, but I think you might sell me out.
You've already been sold out. What's the matter with you?
You know, if positions were reversed, I'd give you a hand.
I wouldn't ask you to. Anybody gets himself in a mess like you're in shouldn't expect help. Now use your head, Lucky. Let's get this over with.
Sure, I'll meet you in Times Square. New Year's Eve, Johnny.
Lucky? He's gone.
You know him better than I do, but don't you think you pressed him a little too hard? Wouldn't he have believed you if you talked like you were going to help him?
No, he knows me better than that.
Well, it's a tough spot, Dollar. An old friend like that.
Well, he's still in New York. He won't get out now, will he?
Well, everything should be covered by now. Do you know him well enough to guess what he'll try?
I don't think so, because a killer isn't the guy I knew. His clothes are still in the hotel room. I don't think he'll try for them now. He's got about $200 in his pocket. I don't have any idea what he'll try, Lieutenant. I guess all we can do is wait. An officer was posted at the apartment, and Lieutenant Belder and I went down to headquarters. Under steady questioning, Hazel Mackey held to her story that she knew nothing about any $200,000, that she'd been afraid of George Myers, that she'd hired a detective in good faith to protect her, and that after Myers had been killed, she had pleaded with Costa to give himself up. It seemed apparent to me then, after having talked with him, that she had her statement well rehearsed and felt that if she stuck to it, there was no way for us to prove anything else. I stayed in New York that night and the next, waiting for something to break. When it came from Hartford. Joe Costa wanted to see me as soon as possible.
Johnny?
Yeah, Joe.
Come on in.
Oh, I got here as fast as I could. How's Louise?
Not very good. Sit down. I'm sorry about blowing up the other day,
It's all
Johnny.
right. I didn't blame you. It was a bad time for both of us.
You're right, Johnny. All I could think of then was he's my brother. But now it don't make any difference. He's no better than a rat that you got to trap. There's nothing to do but stop him.
You're right, Joe.
I had to quit my job over him. I couldn't take it the way the boys were looking at me. They wouldn't talk to me.
It'll smooth over. What do you want to talk to me about, Joe? Has he contacted you?
Yeah, he phoned me. He wants for me to give him some money so he can get away.
He needs more than money now. He'll never get out. What'd you tell him?
Well, I told him I didn't have any to give him. And that was the time I knew for sure that you were right about him. So when he asked me again, I told him I'd see what I could do about raising some. I told him to call back tonight. I did that so I could sell him out to you.
It was the right thing to do, no matter what you think. He wouldn't think twice about pulling you into this mess, Joe. And that's what he did. He asked you to be a party to the killing.
Yeah, I know that.
When is he going to call?
Sometime after 7 o'clock.
Does he want you to meet him?
Yeah, that's right. With $200. He's going to tell me where when he calls.
He's still in New York, isn't
Yeah, in Manhattan.
he? You want me to talk to him?
Yeah, if he gives himself up, I kind of figure they might take it easier on him.
It could be. That's a deal, Joe. I'll talk to him. I'd like to see him go in by himself.
Well, you want a glass of wine while we wait, Johnny?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
This is some new stuff from my wife's folks. I took her and the kids up to their house to stay till this blows over. You'd think we were all criminals the way people treat us in this town.
The call came in about 8:30. The meeting place was a flat near the Bowery. The time was about 10 the following night. I was there at 5 minutes after. Hi, Lucky.
Oh, what's this?
Let me in. Nice place you got. You like it better than a home with a wife?
Shut up. So Joe sold me out, huh?
He gave you a break. He didn't call the police.
Did he send me some money?
No? You think you had any right to ask him to?
I need some dough, Johnny. I'm running short.
What about your girlfriend?
You can shut up about that, too.
A double cross, Lucky, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, double cross. A real good one. I got no beef coming.
You gonna let Hazel get away with it?
It's not worth a murder rap to square with her. You know who set up the double cross for her?
Who?
You did, Johnny. You stumbled into this thing and set it up for her.
Maybe she'll send me a gold watch. I saw her 3 days before you killed him, Lucky. If you knew I stumbled in, why didn't you pull out?
She didn't tell me about you until after I killed him.
Oh, that's the way it went.
Yeah. One little thing Hazel forgot. And she hoped it wasn't important. She hadn't wanted to bother me with it. But a friend of mine acted like he was suspicious of what we were doing. All it did was blow the whole thing sky high. I was going to cop a self-defense plea, but with you around, sniffing out the premeditation, I didn't have a chance.
That's tough, Lucky. I'm sorry it didn't work out for you.
Get off, will you? I came into this with my eyes open. I know what kind of an operator she was. I'm not beefing. There was a chance to make $100,000, so I took the jump, so I lost.
What now, Lucky?
I was going to ask you. You want a drink?
No, thanks.
You won't drink with me, huh?
Not right now, Lucky.
Afraid I'll slip you a Mickey?
I wouldn't put it past you if I was in your way.
You are in my way. Aren't you, Johnny?
Everybody's in your way now, the whole world. You can't make it, Lucky. You won't get out of town.
How much you got says I won't.
Start making sense. You've been on the right side of enough of these things to know you're finished right now.
No, I'm not.
I want you to get a shirt and tie on, make yourself look halfway human, and go to headquarters with me. They may give you a break if you give yourself up.
Save it. Quit talking about it.
What are you going to do?
I'm not sure now that Joe sold me out. I'm in a bad spot, Johnny. I know that. I'm not ready to quit yet.
Joe didn't sell you out. He wanted to give you a chance to give yourself up just like I do. We're still your friends, Lucky. We can't stand by you if you won't do the right thing.
Then I'll go it alone.
When?
What do you mean by that?
What do you think I'm going to do, Lucky? Sit here with you until you get ready to leave?
I sort of hope you would. It'd make it easier if you did.
Well, I can't. I came here to give you a break. I've made my offer. Come with me. Give yourself up.
No, I can't do that.
Well, then I'm leaving. I'm telling the first cop I see to come and get you. You're going to put a gun on me, Lucky?
Yeah. I can't let you leave.
Then you'll have to use it. You want me to come up a coward in front of an old friend like you?
I'm sorry, Johnny. You got nothing to lose? You won't get blamed if I get out of here.
I can't let you, Lucky.
I'm not bluffing.
I'll have to see. I'm leaving. I'll ask you once more to go with me.
Don't try it, Johnny. I'll kill you if you start for the door.
That's your privilege, Lucky, because you're already a killer.
Johnny.
Yeah?
I'm telling you, don't. Johnny, I'm telling you. Johnny, I told you.
Well, Dollar?
He won't give up, Lieutenant.
Yeah, we'll take him then.
He's armed and he's drunk. But take it easy on him if you can. He could have killed me, and he didn't. I realize that the confession as set down in this report is worthless as evidence, and as far as proof goes, you are still unable to charge Hazel Mackey for her part of the conspiracy. But after Frank Costa died trying to fight his way out of the flat, I want to suggest that she be picked up again and grilled until she breaks. She's as guilty as he was. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Remember, friends, for refreshment while you work, for enjoyment any time, chew a stick of Wrigley's Spearmint Gum. There's lots of lively, real mint flavor in it to cool your mouth, freshen your taste, and sweeten your breath. And chewing Wrigley's Spearmint helps keep you fresh and alert. You feel better, work better, get more fun out of doing things. So indoors, outdoors, at work or play, always keep delicious Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum handy. For refreshment while you work, for enjoyment any time, chew a stick of Wrigley's Spearmint Gum. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, brought to you by Wrigley's Spearmint Gum, stars Edmond O'Brien in the title role and is written by Gil Dowd with music by Eddie Dunstetter. Edmond O'Brien can now be seen starring in the Paramount Pictures production, Warpath. Featured in tonight's cast were Virginia Gregg, Gloria Blondell, Hy Averback, Peter Leeds, and Sidney Miller. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, is produced and directed by Jaime Del Valle. The makers of Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum hope you've enjoyed tonight's story of Johnny Dollar and that you're enjoying delicious Wrigley's Spearmint Gum every day. We invite you to join us next week at this same time when, from Hollywood, Edmond O'Brien returns in another adventure of
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Bob Stevenson speaking. This is the CBS Radio Network.
Johnny Dollar.
This is
Case, Mr. Dollar.
Oh, yes, Mrs. Case. Thank you for calling back.
Of course. Do I understand that my husband's insurance company sent you to talk to me?
That's right, Mrs. Case.
But who reported my husband's disappearance to them?
They have to keep their eyes open, especially with a holder of a policy the size of your husband's.
You aren't keeping things from me, are you? Nothing has happened that I don't know about.
I'd have no reason to hold anything back, Mrs. Case.
Please tell me the truth. He hasn't been found hurt or anything.
No, he hasn't been found yet. But I'd like to talk to you to find out what I can do.
Edmond O'Brien in a transcribed adventure of the man with the action-packed expense account. America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Home Office, Tri-State Insurance Group, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Leland case matter. Expense account item 1, $24.80 transportation from Hartford to New York City. I phoned Mrs. Leland Case as soon as I got in, and when she returned the call, I made arrangements to meet her at her... I phoned Mrs. Leland Case as soon as I got in, and when she returned the call, I made arrangements to meet her at her apartment. But before I went over, I checked in with Missing Persons Bureau to get what background they had.
Mr. Dollar?
That's right.
I'm Sergeant Dilko. Sorry to keep you waiting, but I was busy on another file. You're interested in one on Leland Case?
That's the man, and I'd like to start from scratch. All I know about him is that he carries too much insurance to lead a peaceful life. That isn't a generality.
Oh, what is it?
I wondered if you knew. He was married before, and according to the scandal sheets, he thought his first wife tried to kill him. Something about sleeping pills and a fire, but there was no proof, so all he could do was make a public statement and divorce her.
Oh, no, we didn't know that. When did this happen?
About 5 years ago.
Where is his first wife?
I don't know, but I'll try to find out.
Let us know. Here's what we have. Age 47, description, etc. Occupation, owner and manager of a statewide line of grocery stores known as Case Incorporated. Reported missing by Mrs. Leland Case day before yesterday. She said he'd been missing 2 days and knew of no reason why he should leave of his own volition. Knew of no enemies or any reason for suicide. I've got 50 more just like it.
I suppose you have. Did he say he was going anyplace the last time Mrs. Case saw him?
Not that she remembers. He kissed her goodbye at 10:30 in the morning and failed to pick her up at 7 that night to go to dinner at the home of Mr. and Mrs. Herbert Bennett.
There isn't any luggage or missing clothes.
Not unless he had some no one knew about at his office where he maintained a Not unless he had some no one knew about at his office where he maintained a bachelor apartment.
Oh, there's that.
Yeah. We haven't really gotten to work on him yet. We've got circulars and so on out on him, and in a day or so we'll be able to spare a man or two for personal work. This has been a busy year for us.
I wonder how that works, how 1 year can be worse than another.
I'm not sure. I think it's the general condition of the world myself. That is, for the ones who do just drop out of sight. You know, people will put up with a lot of boredom and unhappiness during normal times. But when there's uneasiness and unrest, their sense of values change. Their sense of moral responsibility. They say, if I put up with this life along with everything else, let's have a fling. More divorces this year and more marriages.
Everybody running to take a big jump someplace, huh?
The whole world.
Yeah, I guess that's right. What about his current wife? What's she like?
I think she's a girl that would take a long time to know. She's a lot younger. No more than 26 or 7. So the obvious reaction is to doubt her sincerity about a rich, older husband. She's darn good looking and thinks she could tell a lot of men anything and they'd believe her.
It wouldn't interfere with your procedure if I talked to her?
No, not at all. The more work I can get you to do, the better.
Oh, okay, Sergeant. Thanks for the help. I'll see what she has to say. When I was admitted to the case apartment, I understood what Sergeant Dolko meant. She was beautiful, and her outstanding feature was part of her personality, too. A pair of hazel eyes whose candid stare never left yours while you were talking to her. It was almost dark when I got there, and she led me to an end of the living room where a big window looked out at the lights that were snapping on all over Manhattan.
I know I should appreciate what the insurance company is doing, Mr. Dollar, but sometimes I'm almost afraid of what will come to light.
What do you mean, Mrs. Case?
Leland's reasons for wanting to go away. I reported him missing on an impulse, and I wish I hadn't. Not for a while, at least.
Then you aren't worried about him?
I should have given him more time to explain it, to write or phone. Maybe there's a very logical explanation. But I'm mostly sorry because of the stories in the newspapers.
I didn't read them.
They make our life sound so sordid. Just because he's been married before and because he was called a playboy when he was younger. Ours has been a very normal and happy marriage. Not at all what they made it seem.
You must have been worried about him when you went to the police.
Yes, I was. But I'm inclined to let my imagination get hold of me.
Imagination about what?
About his being in an accident or being taken ill or something like that. And when 2 days passed, I couldn't stand it anymore, and I called the police.
Had you made any other inquiries? Called anyone else?
Yes, I called our lawyer the next day.
The day after he didn't meet you for dinner?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
He told me he didn't have any idea why Leland should do a thing like that, but he said not to worry. Then when another day passed, I called him again, and he said the same thing. Not to worry, that he was sure everything was all right.
What's his name, this lawyer?
Paul Frater.
How well do you know him? Personally, I mean.
Oh, hardly at all. He's been here at the apartment a few times for parties, and I've talked to him on the phone, but that's all.
What about your husband's other business associates? Did you know any of them?
No, not well. I've only been married to Leland for a little over 2 years. He's always said that he wanted our life separated from his business life.
Yeah.
I think I know what you mean. You wonder if Mr. Frater and the others would keep things from me if Leland wanted them to.
Do you think they would?
Yes, I do. I think Mr. Frater was. He kept telling me not to go to the police and that everything was all right. But then when I'd ask him how he knew, he wouldn't say.
What did he say?
That the publicity wouldn't be good. I did anyway, because I felt that I couldn't believe anybody.
I have an idea you turned to the police in anger, Mrs. Case.
I told you I was sorry that I did.
You also told me that you were almost afraid of what might come to light. Was there trouble between you and your husband?
Not that I know of. I mean, I love my husband, and if his feelings toward me changed, I wasn't aware of it.
Yet you went to the police because you were angry.
No. I was worried and confused. I didn't know what to do. Yes, I was angry because of the way Mr. Frater talked to me. I thought he was lying to me. But if I hadn't talked to him, I would have gone to the police anyway. I think any wife would.
Yeah?
Oh, I don't know what I thought. I wish I hadn't. And if there were a way to stop it, I would.
Do you really want it stopped?
No. He's been gone for 5 days, and I want to know where he is. I have a right to, haven't I?
Sure.
You think I'm cheap and mercenary, don't you? But I married him for his money, and I want to hang on to it.
I didn't say that, Mrs. Case.
You don't have to. Everybody thinks that. Maybe even Leland sometimes. Because I'm young and because of the way I look. I can tell by the way his men friends act around me and the way their wives look at me. Nobody believes I love him. And I wish I didn't. I wish I could turn into what people think I am.
Well, I'll either see you again or I'll phone you tomorrow after I talk to Paul Frater.
I'm sorry I had to keep you waiting.
Oh, it's all right, Mr. Frater.
I seem to have lost an hour this morning that I can't catch. Mr. Dollar, wasn't it?
That's right.
From Tri-State Insurance. Sit down.
Thanks.
How in the world did your company get caught up in this farce?
I think they have informers in the Bureau of Missing Persons.
Missing persons. Rot. As if it isn't bad enough to have a suspicious, grasping wife dogging your every step, now the insurance company is tagging along.
Well, that's the picture so far. You know where Mr. Case is?
No. But if I did, I wouldn't tell you. All of us. All of his friends have been after him to get away from everything here in the city and take a complete rest.
That's what you think he's doing.
Of course it is. And you'd be doing the poor chap a favor if you'd leave him alone.
His wife said that she phoned you and asked if you knew where he was, Mr. Frater. She didn't say that you told her anything about arrest.
I didn't tell her because she's one of the things he's getting away from. When I do tell her the truth, it'll be in the form of divorce papers.
She didn't mention any divorce either. She said they were happy.
Yes, she would. The word happiness is just about the most indeterminate word you'll ever find if you take the trouble to analyze it. Ask 10 people what is necessary to the state of happiness, and you'll get 10 answers. In short, she may have been happy, but he wasn't.
I take it you don't like her.
I don't like leeches. Throughout his life, Leland Case has been the object of scheming women. When he was young, there were scheming mothers, and from then on, the daughters, without prompting. He married the first time against our advice, and it ended in near tragedy. Then this brainless doll stalked him down, and he did it again. We told him from the beginning that she was a huntress. Well, it appears that he's finally come to his senses.
Uh-huh. Who are the we you speak of?
His friends, his business associates.
And, though it's none of my business, do you base your thinking on the theory that the girl is too beautiful to be good, or is there something definite?
How long have you known her, Mr. Dollar?
I met her yesterday.
Then you'll admit that we know her better. She's a cheap beauty contest type from upstate with a high school education.
Okay. What else is he resting from?
Work. He's been completely exhausted mentally for the past 8 months. He had to stop or he'd have collapsed. He's no figurehead, you know. He really heads that corporation. He carries more responsibility than a single mind is equipped to carry.
Where would he go then, Mr. Frater? You must have an idea of Florida, the Caribbean, out west someplace. Where?
I really have no idea, Mr. Dollar. I really don't.
It must be quite a distance, or he would have read about his disappearance and at least phoned.
Yes, that's true. Possibly even Europe.
Well, the police are covering all the steamer and airlines.
That stupid, spiteful woman, the police. Is there no way to stop this idiocy?
If you as his lawyer don't know, and I don't. As long as his wife says he's missing, he is. I talked with more of Leland Case's friends and advisors that day, and their statements were pretty much the same as Paul Frater's. I followed Case's last known movements from his office to his club where he'd arrived at 5 p.m. for a steam bath. He'd been seen leaving there an hour or so later, and there the trail ended. The witness couldn't remember whether he'd been carrying anything like an overnight bag, and nobody knew how much money he'd had with him. It was hard to tell how much nationwide publicity the disappearance was getting, but in New York and the neighboring states, the papers carried the story in every edition. But that day and most of the next passed before anything developed. I was just leaving my hotel room for dinner when the phone rang. It was Mrs. Leland Case calling to say she had to see me in her apartment as soon as possible.
I had to call you. I wasn't supposed to, but I didn't know what to do.
Sit down.
I wasn't supposed to talk to anybody, but I had to. I couldn't stand
Sit
it.
down. Now, come on, sit down. Try to make sense. All right. What happened?
A man phoned me. Leland's alive, but they're holding him. I've got to give him some money.
Now, wait a minute. When did this call come in?
Before I phoned you, about 5 minutes, I think. I don't know how long before.
Slow down now. What did he say, exactly?
He said... He told me Leland was alive and all right. He said he'd be safe if I turned $10,000 over to them. They'd let him go then. But if I talked to the police, he'd be killed.
How did you answer him?
Oh, I hardly remember. I went all to pieces. I just said, yes, I'd do anything. He wanted to know how fast I could get the money, and I said I didn't know. And then he said if it wasn't by noon tomorrow, to forget it. I can get it. There are some things in the safety deposit box.
Now, wait a minute.
And there's quite a bit in the checking account.
Wait a minute. Did he tell you where you were going to hand over the money?
No. Oh, he said someone would call me again.
When?
Tomorrow morning, 11:30, he said.
All right, we have some time then. We'll try and figure out what we're going to do. Before I left her that night, I felt I had convinced Mrs. Case on a few salient points. For one, that we'd be working at cross purposes with the police if we tried to make the contact without them and therefore be hand in hand with the criminals. For another, that if she were watched, as she probably would be, and acted as though she were raising the ransom, I could line up the police without any suspicion being cast on her. And finally, that by the record, kidnappers who received their extortion money according to their... And finally, that by the record, kidnappers who receive their extortion money according to their exact demands are the first ones to kill the kidnapped victim, since by that time he is the only evidence against them. I alerted Sergeant Dulco that night, and the next morning, while Mrs. Case was out getting what she could of the $10,000, I alerted Sergeant Dulco that night, and the next morning, while Mrs. Case was out getting what she could of the $10,000, I went to the apartment and waited for her. I was standing next to her at 11:30 when the phone rang. Go ahead, I'll stand there. Go ahead, I'll stand here. Hold the receiver away from you.
Take it right to line 15 in.
I alerted Sergeant Dulco that night, and the next morning, while Mrs. Case was out getting what she could of the $10,000, I went to the apartment and waited for her. I was standing next to her at 11:30 when the phone rang. Go ahead. I'll stand here. Hold the receiver away from your ear. I want to get what I can.
All right. I'm so scared.
Go ahead. Don't try to be anything else.
Hello?
It's 11:30. This is about your husband again. Did you raise the money?
Not all of it, but it's over $8,000.
We said 10. What about the rest?
I couldn't do it. You wanted me to be careful, and I couldn't get the rest without answering questions. You didn't give me much time.
How much is it?
I can give you $8,600.
There's some way you can make up the difference?
It's such a little bit more. I could sell some of my things if you'll give me more time.
How much time?
It would take another day.
That's too long. We want to get out of this part of the country, so we'll give you a break. You get your man back.
How is he? Is he all right?
He's okay, and he'll stay that way. As long as you do what we say.
I will. What do you want me to do?
Okay. I'll tell you, and we'll get this over with right now. You know where they're fixing up that church on Park Avenue?
Yes. Yes, I know what you mean.
Well, there's a bus stop right there. You be there at 10 to 12 on a dot and have the money inside a newspaper that's folded up. You got that?
Yes.
It'll only be a few minutes, and somebody will meet you. We know you because we've been following you all morning. You got the paper rolled up like you're through reading it, see?
Yes.
And this person will come up and say, "Are you through with that paper, lady? I want to find out who won the game." Got that?
Yes, I'll remember.
You just give him the paper and walk away. You got that?
Yes. And my husband. When will you let him go?
Just as soon as we get back to where he's at and count the money.
All right. There's nothing else I can do.
That's right. And there's one last thing. Your phone's going to start ringing right after you hang up. Let it ring. It's going to be me, so you won't call out. I want you in front of your building in 3 minutes, so you don't stop the phone. You'll be followed from then on. Now, let's get started so you get your man back, huh?
Well, he hung up.
Yeah, you too.
Did you hear all he said?
Yeah, enough of it. They threw us a curve. It's not usually as simple as this. I won't have time to call the police in.
What's going to happen?
I'll do what I can. Get started now. You've only got a few minutes. I'll leave the building by the other entrance and go up Lexington. Come on.
You'll be there.
I'll try to be by the time you get there. Here's a newspaper. If you can stall a little, do it, but don't be late. When you get there, don't look for me.
I won't.
It's stupid pulling a wide-open daylight contact like this. So stupid it's smart. By the time I'd elbowed and pushed and run my way to the church corner, I was so winded I thought everybody on the street could hear me breathing. But I was there a little over a minute before I saw her picking her way through the crowd, face ashen gray and the folded newspaper held as though it were something alive and dangerous. When she stopped, I moved over as close to her as I dared, and I listened for the words she was waiting for. And finally, out of shopper's chatter of Macy's and Gimbel's and so on, they came.
You through that paper, lady? I want to find out who won the game.
What? Oh, yes. Yes, here.
Hey, wait a minute.
Huh? What do you want? Hey! Let go! Let go! Let go! Let me go! Come on!
Haven't talked to him yet, but I've got 2 cars out checking the address he gave the booking sergeant.
What name did he give?
Lamson, Eugene L. We haven't checked that out either.
There must be at least 2 more to do all the There must be at least 2 more to do all the tailing and covering he talked about on the phone.
Well, we'll get a call from the radio cars. Oh, here. He's in here. Well, you don't look like you're going to enjoy a steak for a while, do you?
I can wait.
For a long time on a federal rap?
You think so, but I ain't worried.
Where's Leland Case?
I got news for you. I don't know where he is.
Is he alive?
I don't know that either. I read about him in the paper and figured I could nick the wife before they found him.
Sure.
You don't like that? That's all you got of me, and that's all you're going to get.
I wouldn't count on that. Use your head, Lamson. You know how high kidnapping comes. I've known people to get a break if they cooperate.
I don't know nothing about a kidnapping. I'm telling you straight.
You mean he's dead?
I mean what I said. I don't know nothing about it.
Who was in it with you?
Nobody was in nothing with me. I did it alone.
And you know where he is?
I don't know where he is. I tell you, I read about it and figured I'd try to cash in. I ain't fool enough to kidnap nobody.
I don't know what you're trying to pull, Lamson. It's a little late to play stupid.
You told the arresting officer that all you did was ask a lady if she was through with her paper. Why didn't you stick with that story?
I knew I couldn't make it whole.
Then let's have the rest of it. Who contacted Mrs. Case yesterday?
I did.
Who followed her this morning?
I did. I read about her husband and cut her picture out of the paper and went over by her place and stuck around till I saw her.
And yesterday I called her on the phone and told her she could get her man back.
Where is he, Lamson?
I don't know. I just told her that to see if it would work. Almost did.
Drop it, Lamson. You phoned her this morning at 11:30. I was there.
Sure I did.
Who followed her from her apartment building to that Park Avenue corner?
I tell you, I did all of that. But I don't know nothing about no kidnapping.
Who stood by the telephone connected to the cases to keep it busy?
Nobody did. I phoned her from just down a block this morning, from a booth. And when I told her I was going to call back and for her to leave it ring, I just left the receiver hanging and went out to follow her.
You know, a lot of you guys have got the idea that if you take a story like this and stick with it and swear to it and repeat it, that there isn't anything anybody can do to break it down.
Yeah. You can't break this one down because there ain't no other. I don't know nothing about this guy but what I read in the paper.
We'll just let you soak for a while, Lamson. The FBI is on their way over. I understand they're pretty good with stubborn guys like you.
I'm telling you, I don't care who comes. That's the straight story, and nobody can make me say nothing else. It was just an idea I had. I got it after I read about it in the paper that this guy
That's enough, Lamson. We'll get back to you. You work on your story while you wait for it.
Well, I have to work on it. It's true.
You had enough, Dollar?
Too much, sir.
It may sound crazy. Maybe I am, but it's the truth. I just figured it might work, and it almost did. I had the money right in my hand.
I think it was then that we began to feel that when and if we found Case, we'd find him dead. I don't know about the sergeant, but I began to feel responsible, as though he might have been killed because we'd picked up Lamson and the accomplices he wouldn't name had known that things had gone wrong. We waited in Dolko's office for the report from the radio cars investigating Lamson's address. When we got it, the picture was as blank as before. He'd moved into the place 2 weeks before, and nobody that was questioned knew where he'd come or...
Take around the copy.
I think it was then that we began to feel that when and if we found Case, we'd find him dead. I don't know about the sergeant, but I began to feel responsible, as though he might have been killed because we'd picked up Lamson and the accomplices he wouldn't name had known that things had gone wrong. We waited in Dolko's office for the report from the radio cars investigating Lamson's address. When we got it, the picture was as blank as before. He'd moved into the place 2 weeks before, and nobody that was questioned knew where he'd come from or anything about him. In the meantime, the experts had gone to work on him, and by 10 that night, when I left for my hotel, he still hadn't changed his story. That's the way the day ended. Johnny Dollar.
Sergeant Dolko.
Oh, yeah. Good morning, Sergeant. Anything new?
There was a message on my desk when I got here to call a hospital up near White Plains.
Huh?
I talked to a doctor who says there's a patient up there that answers Case's description.
What?
It seems to be a semi-religious place of some kind in the country, sort of removed from reality. This man was brought there by somebody who found him wandering on the road with his clothes torn off and in pretty bad shape from beating. He gave his name as White.
Huh. I don't get it. You going to follow it up?
Yeah, I'm asking permission of the local authorities to come up, and I wondered if you'd like to go with me.
What about Lamson?
He's asleep. So's everybody that questioned him. They worked all night without getting him to change a word.
All right, Sergeant. Let's go to White Plains, then. You want me to cab over, or will you pick me up? The hospital, it seemed, practiced really basic charity. Nobody who came or was brought to the door was turned away. According to the doctor, the patient called White was recovering nicely from his physical symptoms, but his mental condition was such that he refused to talk to anyone, refused to do anything but lie in his bed and stare at the ceiling. We'd come armed with photographs of Leland Case, so we knew that's who he was the moment we walked into his room.
Oh, hello, Mr. Case. I wish you'd have let people know where you were. You've caused everybody a lot of worry.
What name did you call me?
Case. Leland Case, isn't that your name?
I don't know. I don't know who I am.
I think we do, Mr. Case.
Leland Case. That's not a very nice name. Why did you come here?
We've been looking for you. You've been missing for over a week. My name is Dolko, and this is Mr. Dollar.
I'm glad we found you, Mr. Case.
Leland Case. That name doesn't mean anything to me.
We have some photographs here. See if you recognize them.
Mm-hmm. They're of me. They're of someone who looks very much like me. I have no memory of anything before I was on a train that I left in the city near here.
White Plains?
Oh, yes. I called myself Mr. White because I remembered that.
You don't remember getting on the train?
No, I remember getting off late at night and wondering why I had come and where I should go. I remember walking down some railroad tracks because it seemed so good to be in the country at night. And then these men attacked me, and I believe they took everything I had, if I had anything. And someone brought me here. Who is Leland Case?
You're a pretty successful man in the state of New York. You have money and a big, thriving business. You have a wife.
A wife?
Yes, the girl in one of the pictures. This one.
This girl is my wife.
Yes, and you also had a doctor who told you that if you didn't stop working so hard, you'd have a mental breakdown.
Well, this is awfully confusing. To hear you tell me that this stranger, that I am this Leland Case, this is no joke, is it? Are you sure that's who I am?
Yeah, we're sure. As soon as you feel strong enough to go back to New York with us, you can talk to people who know you. Your wife, for one.
My wife?
Does the name Paul Frater mean anything to you? He's a lawyer.
Paul Fraser. No, it doesn't mean anything to me. The doctor tells me I've recovered from my injuries. I wonder when he would let me go.
He told us that if you felt like it, you could leave today. It would be good for you.
Well, then, if my clothes are wearable, I think I'd like to try and get up.
All the way back to New York, he asked questions about the Leland case. All the way back to New York, he asked questions about the Leland case he'd forgotten. When we got there, it was early evening, and by arrangement with Paul Frater... Paul Frater was waiting with Mrs. Case at the apartment. There were a few moments of strained silence while he looked at them with no show of recognition.
And you tell me that this is my wife.
Leland, darling.
And Mr. Fraser.
Why, I'm your attorney. You and I have been like father and son for years.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Fraser.
You don't remember?
I'm afraid I don't.
Leland. Leland, darling, I'll take care of you. I'll make you remember.
What about the business? That'll snap him back.
These gentlemen have told me about the business, this huge, complicated enterprise. Well, I can't believe that I, no matter what my name is, ever controlled anything as large as that.
Well, you did, Leland. You're a genius in organization.
A genius? Well, that sounds awfully dull.
Leland, the company needs you.
Mr. and Mrs. Case and Mr. Frater, I think the problem from here on is up to you. Sergeant Dilko and I are only in the way now.
Well, we want to thank you for all that you've done.
We're glad that it's turning out this way. Goodbye, all of you.
Goodbye. And thank you.
Mr. Dollar. Thank you.
Just so long as Mr. Case will be all right now.
I think I will, Mr. Dollar. Yes, I really think I will.
I couldn't tell because the light wasn't too good, but I'm almost sure that Leland Case winked at me. If he did, it means that his memory is no longer lost, but just stashed away for the day he wants it. And I have an idea that it won't be the company that's there when he decides to find it. But as I say, the light was bad, and I'm not sure. Expense account item 2, same as item 1. Item 3, miscellaneous, $446.53. Expense account total, $496.13. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
This is Dan Cubberly inviting you to join us next week at this time when Edmond O'Brien returns as...
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.